Covered from WSIL, this is News 3 at 5.
Good evening, I'm Mark Kiesling. The U.S. Supreme Court has overturned Roe v. Wade. The High Court announced its decision today. After nearly 50 years, today's decision puts an end to constitutional protections for a woman to have an abortion. We'll have opinions from local people, lawmakers, as well as experts. But first, ABC's Justin Finch has the latest from Washington.
Law enforcement at the ready outside the U.S. Supreme Court, where crowds have been gathering after word the court has overturned Roe v. Wade. The decision evoking different reactions from anti-abortion and abortion rights activists.
Now, with Roe gone, let's be very clear. The health and life of women in this nation are now at risk.
President Joe Biden blasting the decision, calling it out of step from the views of most Americans. Inside the Capitol, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi weighed in, and House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy showed support.
It's a slap in the face to women about using their own judgment to make their own decisions about their reproductive freedom.
Americans celebrate this historic victory because we know it will save the lives of millions of children.
For a near half-century, abortion has been a constitutional right, now overturned by the court's 6-3 conservative majority. In Jackson, Mississippi, the state at the center of the challenge to Roe v. Wade, mixed reaction.
I'm grateful to the Lord that Roe v. Wade has been overturned.
Women without means will suffer.
26 states are poised to severely restrict or outlaw abortion. 13 have so-called trigger laws banning abortion upon the court's decision to strike it down. Republican Senator Susan Collins is now calling out Justices Gorsuch and Kavanaugh, saying their votes are inconsistent with views on abortion rights and Roe v. Wade that they expressed in their Supreme Court nomination hearings. And now across the U.S., Democrat-led states are expanding their abortion rights access. Outside the U.S. Supreme Court, I'm Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
That ruling by the U.S. Supreme Court is already impacting us here at home. Check out this map of the tri-state area. Illinois in gray still allows abortions under the state's Reproductive Health Act. It says women have a fundamental right to abortion services. Kentucky and Missouri, on the other hand, are among 13 states with those trigger laws indicated by yellow. Those laws effectively ban abortion in those states outside of very few exceptions. We are joined right now by my co-anchor, Julie Williams. She is in Missouri, where one of those trigger laws just went into effect. It's called the Right to Life of the Unborn Child Act. It bans the procedure unless there is an emergency. And Julie, you're at a protest in support of abortion access?
Yeah, Mark, I do want to start out with saying you're probably going to hear some cars honking their horns behind me, and you might hear or see some profanity tonight. So I just want to get that out of the way. And I think a lot of that is because on both sides of this issue, there's a lot of emotions and a lot of people who say they feel really overwhelmed. Now, I'm in Cape Girardeau here on the corner of West End and Broadway, and I want to show you a little bit the scene going on behind me. This is a Planned Parenthood advocates protest. A lot of people here say that they're upset about the Supreme Court's decision today to overturn Roe v. Wade. Mark, and like you said, Missouri has one of those trigger laws. So folks here tonight just saying they want to make sure their voices are heard, mainly talking, to folks who say they're pro-choice. We did talk to a gentleman here who says he's pro-life. He was in the parking lot. He said he was kind of drawn in to see what was going on. So really an emotional day for both sides of the issue here, Mark. But we did get to talk to some of the folks behind me. We'll listen to what they have to say on really such an emotional and overwhelming afternoon here.
The Bill of Rights or the Constitution, it's very flowery and beautiful, but basically it says if you see something that's wrong, do something about it, even if it's government.
I cried. Honestly, I saw the news and I cried and I was scared, and it just made me really angry.
It's my God-given right. If I want to have an abortion, I can have that abortion, and nobody can tell me what I can and can't do with my body. It's my body.
I'm 17. I shouldn't have to be arguing with men over my body. It's my body and my choice, and that's for every woman. out here. This is, it's pretty much taking our right away to our bodies when it's ours and nobody else's. And no man should be able to tell us what to do with them.
More people have been coming here throughout the afternoon. This protest started at 4 this afternoon and it goes until 6. So right now we're about an hour into it. That's about an hour of the way through. And, you know, it is hot out here. It is muggy. It is not an easy evening to be out here. So again, that was one of the things I asked folks, you know, why make sure that you're here tonight? And they say it's really because of that emotion. Some of them say, you know, they're not even sure how to feel or if they know how to feel. Really, again, just touching off on that emotion on both sides, you know, pro-choice and pro-life here. And we've seen a lot of people, you know, driving by. We've heard a lot of cars honking, mainly in support, but we have heard some people, you know, yelling out the window kind of in protest of this protest behind me. So there are both sides, you know, being represented here tonight, but again, a lot of emotion, and you can just feel it in the air. You can feel the humidity, but you can feel just how kind of impassioned and empowered people feel right now. So that's what they say they want to capture, and that's what they say they want to get out here in Cape Girardeau, again in Missouri, one of those laws that has, one of those states rather, that has those trigger laws going into effect. So we're going to stay here for the rest of the protest, really cover what's going on here for you folks at home. But in the meantime, I will go ahead and send it back to the studio.
Thank you, Julie. Missouri Governor Mike Parson released a public statement on today's ruling. He said he's happy the decision is now left to individual U.S. states. He goes on to say nothing in the text, history, or tradition of the United States Constitution gave unelected federal judges authority to regulate abortion. Today we have won our fight to protect innocent life. We continue our coverage with more local reaction. People in our region appear split over the Supreme Court's decision to reverse Roe v. Wade. News 3's Danny Valle was out in the community to get your thoughts.
I celebrate the fact that the people now get a chance to choose.
No one can tell me what to do with my body. I have 8 children.
Roe v. Wade's reversal puts abortion back into states' hands. According to Pastor Philip Nelson of Lakeland Baptist Church in Carbondale, that's how it should be.
This kind of moral issue needs to be decided by the people and not by a court. And so what they're doing is going back and saying, let's ask the people what they believe is moral or immoral.
Alberta Camper of Carbondale says this decision infringes on a woman's right to choose.
It's not right for men to step up and say, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that because we're women. And look how many years it took women to come into having some rights.
One woman who chose to remain nameless says that decision protects children who can't fight for themselves.
God gives us life and God takes it away. We don't have the right to take anyone's life. We cannot choose who lives or dies, especially a baby, without a voice or a vote.
Carbondale resident Don Roberts criticized the court's interpretation of Roe v. Wade, adding it could hurt LGBTQ rights down the road. Roberts worries about women pregnant through rape who may not have the resources to abort a fetus.
Before Roe, rich women who come from families who are against abortion, they could secret away to some place and get any procedures done. This will be devastating for especially poor women and women of color.
Danny Valle, News 3.
Local experts tell us they're not surprised by the court's ruling, but as News 3's Madeline Parker found out, they are concerned with how this ruling impacts an already politically divided system. She continues our team coverage tonight.
Mark, experts say that this ruling comes at a time where red and blue states have never been more divided. And as said earlier, some states already have trigger bans in place, while many blue states are solidifying current abortion laws. States nearest to southern Illinois' borders, Missouri and Kentucky, already have triggers in place banning abortions. Abortion is legal in Illinois, with a new clinic coming to Carbondale in August. Experts say these stark differences create uncertainty not just for abortion, but in the larger scheme of politics.
It creates a new period of uncertainty in American life, both in terms of abortion services, but just our overall social fabric, which seems to be so fractured and divided. It just feels like this is maybe the wrong time for a ruling like this.
Experts also say that while the timing of the ruling was a surprise, they have been expecting this decision since the Texas abortion ban became law in September of last year. Now, political experts at SIU say the way the ruling was handled could impact how future cases are decided. I'll have more tonight on News 3 at 6. Reporting live in studio, Madeline Parker, News 3.
Thank you, Madeline. And we also heard from Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker today. He called for a special session in Chicago to address the Supreme Court's decision. Here's part of what he had to say.
At the old Cook County Hospital, there was a wing once known as Ward 41. Ward 41 was dedicated to what they used to call septic obstetrics, or in layman's terms, botched abortions. Desperate women sought out desperate solutions. Hospital professionals from back then say what they saw was nothing short of horrific.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear also sharing his thoughts today. He says today's decision triggers an extremist Kentucky law that creates a total ban eliminating all options for victims of rape or incest. He adds, I know that these violent crimes happen, and not having options for victims of rape and incest is wrong. Illinois lawmakers remain divided on the topic of abortion. We spoke with State Senator Dale Fowler, who is pro-life. We also heard from Illinois Comptroller Susana Mendoza, who supports choice.
I believe it does give people hope, and that's what we're here for. The unborn deserve an opportunity, and that's just always been my belief and my standard.
The thought that women today will have less rights and autonomy over their own bodies than their grandmothers did is something that should give us pause, right, and concern. So look, at the end of the day, this is a vital healthcare procedure that is necessary, that is a difficult one for many women to have access to.
Many other leaders have voiced their opinions as well. That includes state representatives and U.S. representatives from our area. We have many of those statements available on our website, WSILTV.com. We also have a comprehensive map of the country showing how today's decision affects laws in each state. And you can get all of our updates anytime, anywhere. Just download the News 3 mobile app. It's available on both Apple and Android smartphone devices. Just head to the App Store or the Google Play Store. You can switch on notifications to never miss our breaking news.